Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Ainsworth, and yes, we are going to go through another lesson here in polynomials with me. And if for those of you who are wondering why do we have to watch another video from Mr. Ainsworth? Well, let me just tell you something. All right. Would you rather sit in a class doing nothing on a day when the teacher's not there? Where you're either doing a silly review or an activity or just something not productive, or would you rather learn something? And I don't know about you, but you know, I'd rather learn something. So I prepared this for you guys. I took time out of my own schedule, even though I'm trying to help my mom out here in her old age and get into a nursing facility and everything. I'm actually sitting in the hospital, if you can believe that, and preparing this for you guys for tomorrow since I'm not going to be here, since I'll be traveling 600 miles up north and trying to take my mom into a better place. So uh, be appreciative, be attentive, try to learn something. I'm going to go over some basic concepts on how to add and subtract polynomials so that when I do get back eventually, and I will get back, I will work with you guys and you will have learned something and you get to apply something rather than just you know lose out on all your time because you guys don't have a whole lot of time, especially for you seniors. You seniors, you're going to be graduating next year, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of time with you. So, and you're not going to have a whole lot of time in high school. So let's learn as much as you can. Try to be open-minded, and here we go. Okay, we're going to be taking our concepts from the previous section on polynomials and applying them to adding and subtracting. And we'll get to multiplying later on. But right now, we're going to be just focusing on how to add and subtract polynomials and expressing all results in standard form. So I talked about it in our first lesson here, standard form. So I'm going to start with that here. So let's go for it here. And I'm going to say it in a very simple way. Okay, standard form of a polynomial is written looking at your exponents, all right, from high to low. All right, so the key concept here, and let's put it in red here, is looking at the exponents. All right, looking at the exponents. Oops, excuse me. Come on. All right, getting a little tough start here. There we go. All right, sorry. Looking at the exponents. All right, order the terms from high to low. So order the terms, I'm talking about the monomials here. I can say terms are monomials, all right, from, all right, high to low. All right, let's put that in quotes, high to low. All right, a good simple example of that is this. 3x to the fourth plus 2x to the third minus 7x squared plus 9x minus 10. Okay, now if you look at the exponents, and I'm talking about the 4, the 3, the 2, and right here when you don't see the exponent, guess what? It's 1. And the constant, the minus 10, well, I'm going to put an x to the 0 power here because it's to the 0 degree. Constants are defined to be 0 degrees, if you remember in my last lesson. All right, this is a simple example of a polynomial, a fourth degree quartic polynomial that's in standard form or what's called descending order from high to low. All right, we want to remember high to low. Everybody say high to low, high to low. All right, and the way we say that is called descending order, okay? Descending meaning that it goes down. Descending order. So I'm giving you all the lingo here, okay? Standard form, descending order, high to low, all the same concepts. And all you have to do is look at the exponents. Look at this, fourth degree, third degree, second degree, first degree, 0 degree. Focus on the exponents, okay? And it's that simple. All right, that was abbreviation, by the way. All right, so let's take a look at how to add and subtract polynomials. We're going to talk about adding first, okay, the easiest one right here. We're going to do the same thing we did in the previous lesson. We're going to regroup like terms. We're going to simplify and then write the result from high to low, which is what's called standard form, all right, as I indicated right here. All right, we're going to start with the easiest operation, which is addition. Okay, so there's two ways you can do it. I'm going to illustrate both and you get to pick your preference. Okay, yes, there is a choice. All right, you can use method one, regrouping like terms like I showed before, or you can elect to do it using the vertical method, all right, method 2, and I'll illustrate both. All right, you get the same results. It's slightly different, but you're doing basically the same thing, just written a little bit differently. All right, so it's up to you. All right, so method 1, regroup like terms. So when you have 2x squared minus 4x plus 3 plus, and again, look at this, we're adding here. All right, there's a plus sign, so let me highlight that. Adding 3x squared minus 9x plus 11. You really are just adding like terms, and you don't even need the parentheses. So in addition, okay, I suggest you just drop the parentheses, all right, and regroup, all right, like terms. All right, drop them. You're not distributing anything. So there's no need for these parentheses, although they're included all the time. You just got to get used to it. All right, so what do you want to do? You want to regroup like terms. So 2x squared plus 3x squared, that's your first group. All right, 2x squared plus 3x squared. Second group, all right, you got the minus 4x and the minus 9x. I'm talking about these two terms right here, and you're adding them, right? So minus 4x minus 9x. All right, you can ignore the parentheses because of the addition, and there's nothing to distribute. All right, so you got to think real simple. And then I see a plus 3 and I see a minus 11. So plus 3 minus 11. And so when you regroup, all right, you can only regroup or add like terms. And now is the time to simplify. You just add the coefficients. I'm talking about the 2 and the 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, so you get 5x squared. So 2x squared plus 3x squared gives you 5x squareds. Squares plus squares gives you squares. It's that simple. All right, and then look at this. You got a minus 4x minus 9x. Well, that's a minus 13x. Why? Because if you subtract 4 and subtract 9, you're subtracting 13 in all. Again, you got to think simple. And then 3 minus 11, small minus big is always negative, so that's a minus 8. All right, 11 minus 3 is 8, but 3 minus 11 is negative 8. So you're going to write it as minus 8. And my friends, that is in standard form. All right, second degree quadratic, then first degree, all right, and then 0 degree. Now, the other way you can do it, if you choose, all right, now I'm just going to show you this because it's good to see things in different ways, is you can line them up vertically. All right, let's highlight that, vertically. Line them up vertically. So I'm going to take the first polynomial, the 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. I'm going to write it down here, 2x squared, oops, minus, sorry. So minus 4x plus 3. And then line up the second polynomial right underneath it. So, and you line up the same degrees, 3x squared minus 9x, all right, minus 11. And you line them up and you add vertically. All right, you simply add vertically. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so you get 5x squared. Minus 4 and a minus 9, or a negative 4 and a negative 9 is a negative 13x. All right, again, the same degree, same term. And then a 3 minus 11 is a negative 8. So if you want to add vertically, fine, go for it. All right, add vertically. So for some people that works better than regrouping like terms. It all depends on what your preference is. All right, to me, I just look at the like terms, regroup them in my mind, and then add. That's the way I was trained. But everybody's different. So it's up to you. All right, so let's get some practice here. All right. Now at this point, if you want to pause and play, now's a good time. All right. All right. Why is it good to do that? Well, it's one thing just taking notes and copying from me. It's another thing actually trying it on your own and actually practicing. So if you interact with the video, it's better for you. All right. So time to interact. Okay. Pause the video and go for it. All right. All right. So time to try and add the polynomials. Again, it says a plus right here. So we take the first polynomial plus the second polynomial. And again, you don't need the parentheses. Drop them and just add like terms. All right, so here we go. I got 5x squared and a negative 7x squared. So 5x squared minus 7x squared, or you can write it a plus negative 7x squared. Either way, that's fine too. You can write it as plus negative 7x squared. Second terms, all right, the first degree terms, minus 8x minus 3x. And then the constants, all right? The constants. So minus 1, minus 12. So looking at your first group here, 5 minus 7 is a negative 2, so negative 2x squared. Out of the second group, you get a minus 11, negative 8, negative 3 is negative 11, x. And then a minus 1 and a minus 12 is a minus 13. Okay, that's your third group. Now, if you want to, again, line them up vertically, go ahead and do so. All right, and then add vertically here. So when we add these two terms right here, we get a negative 2x squared. Add these terms, a minus 11x, and add these terms, we get a minus 13. And notice that we get the same result. So if you want to add vertically, all right, you can achieve the same goal. Okay, so at this point, you should be pausing and playing here, like I said in the previous example, and interact with the video because you learn more that way. Now, it's the same thing here, but you have three trinomials. It's no big deal, all right? Again, you're adding. Look at this. See those plus signs? You're adding the polynomial, so you really don't even need the parentheses. All right, so you take a look at the first terms, the 8x squared, the minus x squared, and the 4x squared. I'm going to regroup them. Okay, there's my first group. My second group is the minus x and the minus 3x and the plus 9x. So minus x and the minus 3x and the plus 9x. There's my next group. And then my third group right here is the 1, the minus 5, and the 6. So the 1, the minus 5, and the 6. And that's my third group. And then you just go simplify each group one at a time. 8 plus negative 1 plus 4 is the same thing as 8 plus 4, which is 12, minus 1, which is 11. So I get 11x squared. Notice I dealt with a positive first and then take away the negative. Second group, I got a minus 1 and a minus 3, which is a minus 4. So 9 minus 4 is 5, so I got a plus 5x here. 9 take away 1, take away 3 is 5. I just do the simple math. And then 6 and 1 is 7, minus 5 is 2. Typically, I start with a positive, 6 and 1, I start here. Okay, and I add 6 and 1 is 7, take away 5 is 2. And so my answer is 11x squared plus 5x plus 2. So that is how I was trained. I regroup things in my mind and I add like terms. I don't line them up vertically, but again, it's your choice. All right, whatever works for you, either one. All right, and the same thing here. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, and when you are ready, all right, play it and check your results. Always important to check your results. Okay, so let's check this out. Let's group up the second degree terms here. All right, again, we are adding polynomials, so you really don't even need the parentheses here. So 3x squared plus negative 5x squared plus x squared. There's my first group. Second group, I've got my minus 2x and a minus 7x and a plus 7x. All right, the 7x and the negative 7x cancel, so I really just get a negative 2x. So we're done at that point. And then my third group, I've got 4, I've got minus 2, and I got plus 2. These cancel. And really, I just have a 4. So I simplify really ahead of time. 3 plus 1 is 4, minus 5, or plus a negative 5 is a negative 1. So a negative x squared minus 2x plus 4 is my result. And that is how the game is played, all right? Now, when it comes to subtracting, well, ooh, okay, this is a different animal, all right? You got to distribute through the minus sign first, all right? And then do everything we just did earlier. So I'm going to do this in red, all right? This is good part, it's going to be in red, all right? That's the critical step right here, all right? People that miss this step will get everything wrong, so make sure you make sure you do this. All right, and then we'll go for it. So notice right here that we are subtracting the two polynomials. We're not multiplying, we're subtracting. We're taking 2x squared minus 4x plus 3, subtracting the second polynomial. So what you want to do is you want to start with the first polynomial, just drop the parentheses, all right? You don't need them. And then you want to distribute through the negative, all right? You got to subtract 3x squared, subtract the minus 9x, which means you add 9x. There's a double negative there. A negative of a negative is a positive. All right, and then you subtract the 11 too. You got to distribute through the negative through on the minus 11. So we're going to be adding 11 there too. A negative of a negative is a positive. So you distribute through the negative or the minus sign first. If you see a double negative, you're going to add. If you don't see a double negative, you subtract. All right, it's that simple. Now we're going to regroup. All right, regroup the squares. I see a square here and I see a square here. So here we go. So 2x squared minus 3x squared. And then I see a minus 4x and a plus 9x, so minus 4x plus 9x. And then I see a 3 and 11, so plus 3 plus 11. So notice that I regroup like terms right here, and now we simplify. So in my first group, 2 minus 3 is negative 1, so a negative 1x squared. Second group, 9 minus 4 is 5, so 5x squared. And then I see 3 plus 11 is 14 in my last group. So my end result is a negative x squared plus 5x, all right, plus 4. A negative 1x squared is the same as negative x squared. Now you could line them up, all right, no problem. So I can take the first one here, 2x squared minus 4x plus 3, and then I can subtract, all right, look at this, subtract the second polynomial, 3x squared minus 9x minus 11. Okay, you could do that. But if you distribute through, you add the opposite. So what you do is you change the signs, and that's what happens when you distribute through a negative. You change the signs, and then you can add vertically. 2 plus negative 3 is negative x squared, or negative 1x squared. Negative 4 plus 9 is 5, so 5x squared. 3 and 11, well, guess what? That's 14. And guess what? Oh, I forgot to bring another 1 here. These are the same results. All right, the same. So the method is looks a little different, but you get the same results. All right, and I don't care how you do it, as long as you are able to achieve your answer, achieve your goal, which is just to simply subtract the polynomials. So it's totally up to you. So when we practice, like in this next one here, you pick your method. All right, pick it and go for it. Do you want to do method 1 or do you want to do method 2? I mean, do you want to regroup like terms like I did here first, or do you want to in method 1, or do you want to use method 2? You want to line them up? I don't care. Just pick a method. All right. So here we go. Pause and play again. And again, I want you guys to interact. All right, because that is how you get better, not just by watching and copying. That's not how we do it here. All right, and then go for it. So pause the video, go. All right, so I'm just gonna distribute through the negatives. So 5x squared minus 8x minus 1. Notice I dropped the parentheses there. I'm gonna distribute through the negative here. I see a double negative here, so I'm gonna add a 7x squared. A negative of a negative is 7x squared is a positive is 7x squared. And then I see a double negative here. When I subtract the minus 3x squared, subtract a minus 3x squared, well, I have to add the opposite here. There's a double negative there. And also on the third distribution here, a minus minus is a plus, so I'm going to add the 12. So when you distribute through the negative, you change the signs, okay? And then you regroup like terms. So I got 5x squared and 7x squared. I've got a minus 8x and a plus 3x. And then I've got a minus 1 and a plus 12. So minus 1 plus 12. So in my first group here, 5 and 7 is 12. So I get 12x squared. And then I've got in my second group, 3 minus 8, or a negative 8 plus 3 is a negative 5x. And the 12 minus 1 is 11. All right, and that's standard form. All right, pause the video, try the next one. Okay, so I've got my first polynomial here, my 8x squared minus x plus 1. I want to distribute through the negative here and change all the signs. I see a double negative here, so I go plus x squared. I see a double negative here. A negative of a negative is a positive, so plus 3x. And I see a double negative here, so plus 5. On this one here, I got to subtract the 4x squared, subtract the 9x, and then subtract the 6. There were no double negatives. All right, so that was completely different there. And then I want to regroup like terms. Now, my first set of like terms are the squares, these. So I'm going to group these guys up. 8x squared plus x squared minus 4x squared. That's my first group. My second group, I see minus x plus 3x minus x. So let me repeat that. Minus x plus 3x, all right, minus 9x. That's my second group. And then my constants are my third group. I got a plus 1, plus 5, and a minus 6. So what do I have? What did I just say? Plus 1, and then a plus 5, and then a minus 6. And then I just simplify what I see. All right, 8 and 1 is 9, minus 4 is 5, so I get a 5x squared. Second group, I got, let me see, 3 minus 1. A negative 1 plus 3 is 2, and 2 minus 9 is negative 7, so minus 7x. And then the third group, well, 1 plus 5 is 6, minus 6 is 0, so I get 0 here. So my final result is just 5x squared minus 7x, and that's it, because the constants cancel out. Okay? All right. All right. Okay, so let's go for it. So pause and play again, okay? Pause the video, all right, and play when you're ready, all right, and check your result. All right, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to just drop the parentheses first because you don't need them. And then I'm going to distribute through the minus sign here. So a minus minus 5 is a plus 5x squared. A minus minus 7x is a plus 7x because there's a double negative. And there's a minus minus 2, which is a plus 2. And then here I get a minus x squared, a minus 7x, excuse me. All right, and then a minus 2. All right, just distribute through the negative. And then you regroup. So my first group here, I got the squares. All right, so let's start with the squares. All right, so I've got 3x squared plus 5x squared minus x squared. That's my first group. Second group, I got, let me see. I've got the minus 2x and then a plus 7x and a minus 7x. Ooh, these cancel. I just get this right here, a minus 2x. Just simplify as you go. And then I get a plus 4 here and a plus 2 here and a minus 2 here. These plus 2 and a minus 2 cancels, and I get a plus 4. All right, so in that respect, it's fairly straightforward. And then you got to simplify. 3 plus 5 is 8, minus 1 is 7, so 7x squared, and then a minus 2x plus 4 is my final result. All right, and that right there is how you play the game, okay? All right, this is a video, right? So you can always rewind it. There's such thing as called a rewind button. I don't know if you guys ever seen that button before, but hey, guess what? Rewind to get another look. All right. All right, or to hear it again, however you want to do it. All right. Now, part two. Part two we've done before. All right. We did this in the last lesson, but I'm going to put this in again. I'm just going to do one out of the three, not all three, and let you guys check with each other on the final results. But when you take a polynomial, whether it's second degree, like this is a second degree right here, all right, so it's a quadratic. All right, quadratics are called second degree functions, as you guys know from the previous lessons here. And you evaluate them at any point. In this case, p of negative 1, you evaluate at 1. P of negative 2, you evaluate at negative 2. And then here, p of 4, you evaluate it at 4. You just substitute it in, all right, wherever you see the variable, and you evaluate it. All right, and so in this case, 2x squared, you got to evaluate, whoops, sorry. You have to evaluate the polynomial at a couple different places, right? Because it's 2x squared minus x minus 1. So 2 times whatever x squared is minus x and then minus 1. So 2 times negative 1 squared minus negative 1 minus 1. And remember, always exponents first. I'm going to write this down again, all right? And then multiply, because if you do not follow the order of operations, you will get terrible results. Okay, so remember this. So it's going to be 2 times something. Well, what is that? What's negative 1 squared? Well, negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1 or 1. Remember I did side work before. So negative 1 squared equals 1. Why? Well, negative 1 times negative 1 equals 1, right? So this is 2 times 1. And then I see a double negative here. Right there, just wipe it out. Plus 1 and then minus 1. All right, this portion is 0 and this portion is 2, so you got 2 plus 0, which is obviously 2. All right, so you follow the order of operations that you've been learning all your life, okay, basically. All right, and you guys can do the rest. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do the third degree here. Well, I might even do a fourth degree just for funsies here. All right, you can do the rest and check with your group. Let's go down here to part A of number 2. Now, x is 1 here, then x is 2, and then x is negative 3. So you just got to, again, substitute it into the third degree polynomial. This one's called a cubic, all right, which is a third degree polynomial. So what is 4 times 1 cubed, all right, minus 1 squared minus 3 times 1 minus 5. You got to substitute it everywhere you see x. Okay, notice that I substituted into 3 positions because guess what? X is located in 3 positions. And you always evaluate the exponents first, as I said up here in the first example. Exponents first, then multiply. So 1 cubed is 1, so this is 4 times 1, minus 1 squared, which is 1, minus 3 times 1, which is 3, then minus 5. Well, what is 4 minus 1 minus 3 minus 5? Well, 4 minus 1 is 3, minus 3 minus 5. Well, these are 0, 0 minus 5, negative 5. All right, so you have to, again, just go step by step and also work from left, all right, to right. All right, let's highlight that. You work left to right with order of operations, and I'm talking about PEMDAS. All right. All right, exponents before you multiply or divide, and then you add, subtract last. All right. Let's do a fourth degree just for funsies here, and then I'm going to let you go, and you guys can finish the rest. Here, x is 1, and then x is negative 2, and then x is 3. But this is a fourth degree quartic. Ooh, everybody say quartic. All right, that's a fourth degree. All right, so here on this one, you got to substitute 1 in for x. So it's 2 times 1 to the fourth minus 1 to the third. All right, plus 2 times 1 squared. That's a 2. All right, minus 1 plus 3. All right, you just substitute in your x value, all right, wherever you see x. That's what you do no matter what the function is. And remember, exponents first, right? I'll write it down for the third time. So exponents first, all right, and then multiply. Remember that? All right, so 1 to the fourth is 1. When you multiply 4 ones together, typically you get 1. So you get 2 times 1 minus 1 plus 2 times 1 minus 1 plus 3. All right, 2 times 1 is usually 2. All right, minus 1 plus 2. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 plus 3. And you just go from left to right. Okay, this is 1, right? 2 minus 1 is usually 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 3 is 5. All right, and so you're going to get 5 there. So what do you get at negative 2? What do you get at 3? Okay, what do you get? So you guys do the rest here as you guys practice here and check with your groups here. So practice, all right, and check with group, all right, with your group. You know, that's why you guys are in groups, right? and then I will see you in my next lesson. And so, what are we going to do there? Ooh, we switched to multiplying. Okay, yeah, that's a big one. All right, but in the meantime, you guys get good at evaluating polynomials, working with order of operations, and then again, go back up here and make sure you can do some simple addition and subtraction. All right. Well, listen, I hope you learned something. Hopefully, you had a great attitude, and I'm sorry for all the noise in the background, but I'm in a hospital right now. So, but this, guys, was for you. All right. So appreciate it, and I'll see you in section 5 in my next lesson. All right. I'm out of here. I got to go see my mom. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.